Day, y'all, and welcome everybody. Welcome to Grace Ministries USA. Thanks for stopping by, guys, and hanging out with us to hear what God has to say. And if He speaks to you in any way, if He encourages you, if He moves you, if you get anything from any part of the devotional, please give us a thumbs up. He loves you. He wants the best for you. And life's hard and we can't do it alone. It's much better with Jesus. The next morning, as they were leaving Bethany, Jesus was hungry. So he noticed a fig tree, right, in a full leaf a little way off. And so what he did, he went over to see if he could find any figs from that fig tree, right? But as it turns out, there were only leaves because it was too early in the season for the fruit. The fig trees had not produced fruit yet, right? Then Jesus said to the tree, "May no one ever eat your fruit again." And the disciples heard him say it in Mark chapter 11, verse 12. But why? Why would he say such a strange, odd, peculiar thing in that moment? Staying in Jerusalem during the Passover celebration was out of the question for Jesus, especially after his hero's welcome, right, on Palm Sunday, which is coming up here in a few weeks. The crowds would have mobbed him, yo. He was doing miracle after miracle, and people knew that he was the Messiah. They would have mobbed him and they would have interfered. They were seeing things firsthand, witness accounts, not hearing it like we do today in the Bible, right? With the vital works of his final days. So what he did, he stayed in Bethany. It was critical. It was a critical time, which was less than 2 miles from Jerusalem. So he likely stayed in the home of some of his friends, his siblings, right? The siblings, Mary, Martha, Lazarus, Lazarus, Mary, Martha. He says those names twice in the Bible. He says others as well. On the day after his triumphant entry, Jesus returned to Jerusalem. On the way, he saw a fig tree that had leaves on it, and usually fig leaves indicate that a tree has fruit. So when you see the leaves, it's usually an indicator that you're going to get some fruit, some food to go with it. So Jesus was hungry. So what he did, he approached the tree to pick and eat that fig, right? Instead, he discovered that the tree had no fruit. How discouraging, how disappointing, how frustrating in that moment, right? May no one ever eat your fruit again, he says. Jesus cursed the tree because it bore no fruit. It had no fruit. This may seem a little off character for Jesus as we look at his life and what he did and why he did it. Jesus is definitely a little off character. He Some people thought that he had lost his temper because he was fooled by the vegetation, right? That he was human in that moment, but that wasn't what was going on. This wasn't the first century equivalent of a kicking a broken vending machine, essentially. Jesus wasn't hangry here. He wasn't hangry. He wasn't portraying hangry, right? This was a parable, and he spoke in parables a lot. And it was an unforgettable lesson on the importance of being fruitful. Being fruitful. The Old Testament prophets used the figs as a symbol of Israel. We see it in Micah chapter 7, verses 1 through 3. It says, how miserable I am. I feel like the fruit picker after the harvest who can find nothing to eat. Not a cluster of grapes or a single early fig can be found to satisfy my hunger. How powerful of a statement. The godly people have all disappeared. Oh no, what next? Not one honest person is left on this earth. Nobody speaking truth to power. Nobody speaking truth in general. Not one person is left on the earth, one honest person. The passage is referring to the spiritual condition of God's people. They give the outward appearance of being holy and obedient, right? But they produce no fruit, no real evidence of their holiness, right? And obedience. Appearances can be tricky and deceiving, but genuine fruit can't be faked, y'all. If a fruit tree doesn't produce fruit, it's useless. Orange tree doesn't produce oranges, it's useless, right? Likewise, if God's people don't produce spiritual fruit, we are essentially useless, right? In cursing of the fig tree, Jesus was denouncing Israel's relationship with God, and he was warning the people of Israel of the coming judgment, y'all. We will all bow and honor God. Every knee shall bow, every eye shall see. He was also sending a warning to the people who claim to be Christians but show no real evidence of a personal relationship with God. They're not producing fruit in their life. There's no evidence of this fruit. In John 15:8, he said, "When you produce much fruit, you are my true disciples." My true disciples. This brings great glory to my Father. Great glory to my Father. James was a little more blunt in his approach. Faith is dead without works, is what James said. James chapter 2, verse 26, to be specific. And the Apostle Paul wrote, But But the Holy Spirit produces this kind of fruit in our lives. But the Holy Spirit produces this kind of fruit in our lives. This kind: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, self control. There is no law against these things. Galatians chapter 5, verses 22 through 23, y'all. Those qualities please the Lord because, they show that our faith is genuine and that our spiritual fruit can nourish others, bringing people along, encouraging them, helping them, loving on them. If you nurture those qualities and allow them to blossom in your life, you'll help others see just how life changing a relationship with Jesus Christ can be, y'all. And as we go about our week, I got one question for everybody. As you're thinking about some of the stuff that we just covered, what spiritual fruit, what spiritual fruit has God produced in you? I pray that he produces all those spiritual fruits in your life: love, joy, patience, goodness, gentleness, kindness, self control. These things, y'all. God bless you. Have a great day. Stay tuned for future devotionals. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe. If you get something from the channel, thank you for watching. God bless you. He loves you. He just wants to encourage you and lift you up and not beat you down like the world's way. That ain't it. God bless y'all. Have a good day.